Civil War time. You guys need to wake the up, stop being little bitches, and start fighting the back. It is time to fight!
I've noticed that a lot of Democrat women have developed, what is it, potty mouth. A lot of potty mouth, very potty mouthy. They love every sentence must include the F word. Bum, 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 bum. And a very good Monday to you once again. It's been a crazy Democrat Party weekend. What's going on in Iran is no more crazy than what's going on here, except the Iranians have killed, I guess the lowest numbers are 400 or 500 protesters. The higher numbers may be 2,000 or 3,000. I predicted well over a week ago that the regime there would kill 3,000 people. I predicted that the regime would kill 3,000 people to put down the uprising. You got to put down the uprising against the Ayatollah and the boys there. But here in the United States, again, it's their Joseph Stalin thing. A single death is a tragedy. A million deaths are a statistic. And the Democrat Party, they start with one death, and then they organize around it. And eventually, if the left gets their way in the United States, inevitably and invariably what follows, history shows, is more of the same. Now, I want to share this audio with you because we shared the crazy woman yelling at Civil War time and cursing up a storm and just keeping it charming. I don't think her future looks very good. I don't think the rest of her life looks very good. Going to be a bitter, angry, rancorous, unhappy, vulgar, terrible person. But there are millions of them, and they're literally, the Democrat Party has created this is not hyperbole, millions and millions, dare I say, of these very severely mentally ill Democrats, the SMIDs, the severely mentally ill Democrats. She's a SMID. And it's Civil War time. And look, she's just following the lead of the Democrat governor of Minneapolis, Tim Walz, who the Democrats wanted to be vice president of the United States. He's talking about how it's 1863 all over again, the last time the Democrats lost a civil war. But they're gearing up again. There's a lot of rhetoric about civil war and the madness and all that stuff. But let me go to that was this one insane lady on TikTok. It's Civil War time and F word and F word and F word and start fighting. You're going to lose your country. Yeah, well, I guess after all your years in the Marine Corps, I guess you're perfectly equipped to tell us all about that. Now let's go to soundbite number 11, because here's another one who posted a video of herself just in case her parents didn't know that she was already severely mentally ill. In fact, I should go find the text because we had texts back and forth on this yesterday. And I was genuinely concerned, actually, after watching this video. And I'll share with you what I texted because it's just it's extraordinary stuff. But here's another Democrat woman, and they're all, I think, all Democrat women. We don't get a lot of calls from Democrat women these days, do we? It's because of the mental illness, but just extraordinary. Here is the today's Democrat lady of the day making a video of herself ranting and raving, and listen carefully to what she says and see if it registers with you, because it got by a lot of people. The Democrats have done so much insane stuff that this stuff gets by a lot of people. And I know there are a lot of people. Well, I'll just play it now, and then we'll talk about it. Here's the Democrat white liberal woman posting a video of herself. She's doing push-ups, right? Doing push-ups. I think she gets 3 push-ups out, 1, 2, 3 push-ups, and she's yelling at the video camera that's in her telephone, thanks to the patriarchy and the United States of America.
A woman in Minnesota was shot dead by ICE officers today by simply trying to get out of the way. Aaron Bushnell said, "This is what the ruling class has decided will be normal."
I'm sorry, what? Now, wait a minute. She's pretending to do push-ups. She did 3 of them. I saw a number of people posted this video and said things like, "Oh, wow, 3 push-ups. I'm impressed." And I was like, wait a minute, I think you missed the point here.
As Aaron Bushnell said, this is what the ruling class has decided will be normal.
As Aaron Bushnell said, this is what the ruling class has decided will be normal. She's quoting a man. And she got the quote right. I think she said, this is what our ruling class has decided will be normal, said Aaron Bushnell. She's quoting Aaron Bushnell. Do you know who Aaron Bushnell is? Aaron Bushnell, who she's quoting, is the man that self-immolated at the Israeli embassy, set himself on fire and killed himself by setting fire to the cilia on his lungs, the little tiny hairs on his lungs. And I think it took him a day or two to die, didn't it? It was horrible. And he was an enlisted U.S. Air Force guy, right? And he went to the Israeli embassy about a mile from this radio station in Washington, D.C., and he made a political statement making video of himself, and he drenched himself in flammable liquid and set himself on fire, and he self-immolated like he's a Buddhist monk during the Vietnam War, although more Democrats have self-immolated in the last 2-3 years than there were Buddhist monks that self-immolated during the entire Vietnam War. And I got to say, I saw this, and I saw people were mocking her, saying, only 3 push-ups. I'm like, not really the point here. She is quoting Aaron Bushnell, and when I heard it, I sent it back to my friends here on our thread. Is called the Chris Plant Show Team, and me and Michael and Randy and Kevin, and it's just the 4 of us. And I said, well, I think we're kind of missing the point here because it's not about doing 3 push-ups so much. She quoted Aaron Bushnell, who self-immolated at the Israeli embassy. I think someone should let her mother know, someone should let her parents know that their daughter is quoting a self-immolating political extremist who killed himself at the Israeli embassy by way of fire. And I got to say, my first response is somebody should let her parents know that their daughter is on the brink over here. But this Aaron Bushnell lunatic said, just about set himself on fire. This is what our ruling class has decided will be normal, right? And Aaron Bushnell was pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel, so he's a Democrat, And he said, I'm an active duty member of the United States Air Force. I will no longer be complicit to genocide. Right? It's not genocide, but okay, and it wasn't then. I'm about to engage in an extreme act of protest, he said. But compared to what people have been experiencing in Palestine, there is no Palestine, at the hands of their colonizers. Their colonizers have been there since before the time of Moses, but never mind that. It's not extreme at all, he says. This is what our ruling class has decided will be normal. And this is what the Democrat Party has decided will be normal. And now you've got this woman, this liberal American woman, who may be in danger of self-immolating, and there should be some kind of an intervention. Anybody that knows this woman should alert the authorities because she's very unwell. And we decided, hey, it's an opportunity to whip out Aaron Bushnell at the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C., setting himself on fire.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Man's on fire! Man's on fire!
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! And then his script, because now he set himself on fire. He had set himself, he had self-immolated there, and he had already made a video. I'm an active duty member of the United States Air Force, which he was, and the self-immolation of Aaron Bushnell got a certain amount of attention. But he wasn't the first Democrat to self-immolate, even in Washington, D.C. Another Democrat drove from Colorado to come to Washington. He went to the Supreme Court on Earth Day to self-immolate on the plaza in front of the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, because on Earth Day, he wanted to argue that we should be doing more about the climate, and we're going to change the weather, and then he wouldn't have to self-immolate. But isn't that amazing? A Democrat self-immolated in Las Vegas, driving a Tesla truck that he rented, the Cybertruck that he rented, brought it to the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. and blew himself up with bombs inside of the Tesla truck, the Cybertruck. He was planning on, it was full of nails and stuff. And he was planning on killing everybody around it, but the Tesla Cybertruck was so sturdy that it contained the blast and only killed the Democrat. Only one Democrat was killed. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, and I got to tell you, all over the place, the Democrats, Common Dreams, left-wing radical group, they've got a headline, Ruling Class Decided What's Normal. It's an opinion piece, right? And it's honestly, Muslim Public Affairs Council with the quote, unquote, and this is their headline, I will no longer be complicit in genocide, because the Muslim Public Affairs Council was there with Aaron Bushnell, and left-wingers at Common Dreams, they're there with Aaron Bushnell. And this white woman in America is there with Aaron Bushnell, and she might self-immolate, she might not, but her parents should probably be involved at this point. Pretty amazing stuff. And I mentioned the Democrat that went to the Supreme Court to self-immolate because it was Earth Day, right? And I got to tell you, these people, the Supreme Court is busy this year because of Democrats. And tomorrow, what the Supreme Court is taking up is the Democrat Party's desire to have men who say they're women but aren't. Like, we've got a Supreme Court Justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson, who doesn't know what a woman is, and she is one. But never mind that. And she should recuse herself from this, honestly, from this case. But tomorrow the Supreme Court is taking up, that in various states across our country, Democrats are saying, oh, no, boys are girls if they say they're girls. Men are women if they say they're women, because it is a mental illness. Just membership in the Democrat Party is an absolute mental illness. But the Supreme Court tomorrow is planning on taking that up, and I sure hope there are no more self-immolations. But also since the Democrats, they're on the side of boys competing as girls, the Democrat Party is on the side of men competing as women, and the people at ABC News are very angry about this. They have ABC News up in a bundle here. Transgender athlete ban gets Supreme Court review and landmark case. Yeah, it's a landmark case, all right. It's about mental illness. Lower courts have ruled the bans violate civil rights law and the Constitution. Those are Obama judges that have done that. The Supreme Court on Tuesday, that's tomorrow, will, for the first time, wade into the heated national debate over whether transgender girls, that is to say boys, should be allowed to participate in girls' and women's sports. And the Democrat Party, they are against women. You know, the Democrats kept women from getting the vote for about 20 years when Republicans, after freeing the slaves from the Democrats, Republicans wanted to give women the vote, 19th Amendment. Democrats fought it, hammer and sickle, all the way to the grave. They really did. Boy, are they not on Team America. Just extraordinary. But the Supreme Court will hear that tomorrow. Democrats on the wrong side of everything. And boy, I've got so much good stuff. I want to get to Scotland today, too. Scotland, because that goes to the Earth Day. That goes to Earth Day as well. Good stuff there. You know, rural America, our great rural America, deserves access to the very best of what our nation has to offer, especially health care. Across every state, in every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, our neighbors, our loved ones, our colleagues. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. Know what I mean? They are there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year long, 52 weeks a year. And every year, America's more than 5,000 hospitals care for millions of American patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, treating cancer, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. You know, behind every one of those Every one of those hospitals, patients, doctors, nurses, caregivers, working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community lifelines. They employ our neighbors, our family members, keep our families healthy, too. But right now, some in Congress are threatening access to care in rural America. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care. Paid for by the Coalition to Strengthen America's Health Care. Yeah, I've got another story here that just made me laugh out loud. Actually, my best girl pointed it out to me. I said, oh, that's a good one. Text that to me. Would ya, honey bunny? Sure, she said. Sure, sugar cakes. Yeah, what do you hear this story? As Aaron Bushnell would say if he hosted a radio show, let's go to the telephones. Let's go to Marco calling from Springfield, Virginia. Marco, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hey, Chris.
Hey,
I
buddy.
want to wish you a happy New Year, a belated Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and the missus. But I do want to comment on the mental disorder in Minnesota. Dr. Savage says that liberalism is a mental disorder, but I think Trump derangement syndrome is 10 times worse. For the people in Minnesota, a person like Ilhan Omar, who lies habitually with the welfare fraud, the Somali cash fraud, and everything else, and you still respect that woman is just, it's beyond comprehension. You were just talking about Ayanna Pressley. Every time I see her, I think about she is a racist clown, and she reminds me of what a Martian would look like if they were to land here on Earth. I don't even know where to start. You see Minnesota, Seattle, California, and these people, these liberals, still believe that that is the answer for this country. I mean, look at every one of those places led by Democrats. They have scandal after scandal after scandal. You have 18-wheelers with foreign driver's license or no driver's license on our highways. I mean, where does it stop?
Where does it stop is the great question. And and I've got to tell you, Marco, we were kicking around some of this stuff over the weekend and reminded of Ronald Reagan winning 49 states in 1984, losing only Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Richard Nixon in 1972 winning 49 states. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the electoral map, we ought to be in that place now. I'm all for live and let live and all that stuff, but they're nuts, Marco. They're completely insane. I know, Marco, career in the United States Army, defending our nation for America, and you got to look around. And this goes right up to the highest levels of the Democrat Party, to the DNC chair, to Chuck Schumer, the Lizard King. Yeah, so this woman that was shot and killed trying to run over a police officer. You can see the video. You can listen to the audio. Renee Nicole Good inspired little buttons at the Golden Globes last night. Be good. Be good. Go out and be shot and killed by a federal law enforcement officer. I think is what that button says, really, isn't it? I know what it says. But the person that she was out there to defend, because ICE was in the neighborhood looking for a guy named Mahad Abdul Qadir Yusuf. And Mahad Abdul Qadir Yusuf was convicted in 2016, nearly 10 years ago now, for sexual assault. Now, he's 10 years ago. He's convicted of sexual assault, and he's not deported when he's in the country illegally. He's in the country illegally. He's arrested. He's put on trial. He's convicted. Sexual assault. I don't know if he did time in jail. It is almost 10 years ago. And then we don't deport him. All right, now you're free to go. Now you're free to go, right? And additional prior arrests, including first-degree assault, right? And there's an active warrant out for his arrest for obstructing police. Doesn't sound like an ideal neighborhood, a neighbor, rather. And it's like, I don't think they're sending their best. I don't think they're sending their best. Sexual assaulting, first-degree assault, obstructing police, active warrant. And we don't deport him. let me just say, and Democrats don't deport him. And Democrats tell high school girls that boys are going to win their competitions and steal their trophies, and college girls that men are going to come in and steal their trophies and win their, and it has to go to the Supreme Court tomorrow because the Democrat Party is mentally ill and all of its participants. Isn't that amazing? But I was just talking about because it's all about Democrats, isn't it? And my best girl, we were sitting at home, it was yesterday, and my best girl was reading and she laughed out loud. And when she's reading and I hear her laugh out loud, generally I'll say, what is it? What's funny? My dove. And she read one to me yesterday. Said, turns out in Scotland, and we were in Scotland just last year. Wonderful, just great. Great stuff, Scotland, Scottish people, all of it's great. And they got a lot of lefties there. They got some lefties. And they're trying to save the planet and slow the rise of the oceans, right? So here's I had to look for it. I had to look and find a bunch of different stories. But she told me in Scotland, the government there has cut down because Democrats, they have Democrat-like people there too, liberals, people on the left. They have cut down millions and millions of trees in Scotland, not the biggest country in the world, millions and millions of trees to put up wind farms because they're very environmentally concerned. They're cautious. So wind farms, they want to have wind farms to slow the rise of the ocean. Windmills, windmills, which were, where did windmills come from, Michael? They came from Persia. When? Like 800 A.D. in Persia. It's not the Dutch with their wooden shoes and that stuff. In Persia, the Persians, long before America was discovered, the Persians created windmills. And now Democrats are like, hey, it's like the joke about what did Democrats use to light their homes before candles? What did Democrats use to light their homes before candles? And the answer is electricity. Electricity, because they're not progressive. They're the opposite. They're not liberals. They're leftists, and they destroy the world. But here's the thing. They wanted lots and lots of windmills. So I found an article from Windwatch. From Windwatch. Great stuff. And this is a great headline. This one, let me see. This one's from this year. More than 1 million trees cut down for wind turbines last year, 17 million over 24 years. A Scottish government agency has commissioned the destruction of more than 17 million trees in the last 24 years in order to build wind farms on public land. You know why? They really care about the environment. They care very much about the environment. The Scottish government has been blasted after it was revealed that more than 1 million trees have been chopped down on publicly owned lands just in the last year to make way for wind farms. But wait, don't trees clean our air and make our air better and all that good stuff? Oh, yeah, that's right. The mass cutting down of trees came despite the SNP, the energy people in Scotland, and Scottish Greens claiming environmental credentials. These are their environmental credentials. They've cut down 17 million trees. Weyerhaeuser hasn't cut down 17 million trees. How much paper can you make cutting down 17 million trees? I think a lot of paper. Isn't that amazing? Communities in rural Scotland have complained about massive turbines blighting their landscape, with even more planned in areas such as Aberdeenshire and Moray. And now it's been revealed that SNP, they call it the SNP Quango, is getting rid of healthy trees in order to make space for more windmills. According to new statistics, more than 1 million trees were chopped down on public land, the equivalent of 2,700 trees per day. Critics described this as appalling and warned that the The rising number of wind farm developments are causing irreparable damage to the countryside. A very beautiful country, of course. In a Freedom of Information Act request, the Scottish government estimated that 17.05 million trees had been cut down since 2000 in an area that is currently managed by public agency Forestry and Land of Scotland, FLS. Everything has to be abbreviated, right? And it's just amazing. 17 million trees because they're putting up wind farms because they care so much about the environment. That's right. They care about the environment. And they care very, very deeply about one woman, Joseph Stalin. A single death is a tragedy. 1 million deaths are a statistic. And now Renee Nicole Good is that one death, which is a tragedy. And at the same time, I went and looked it up today. Homicides in 2025 in Chicago, just in Chicago, only in Chicago, Illinois, 416 people slain. And you know what? They're bragging about it in Chicago because they're saying, hey, a lot better than the year before. We murdered a lot more in 2024. And so 416 people murdered in the city of Chicago. Information about homicides is released daily by the city of Chicago. The release of homicide victims' names is delayed by 2 weeks to allow the victims' families to be notified. Death, and isn't that all amazing? But I kid you not, they're bragging about it. So 416 murdered this year. Hey, that's down 20% because, well, that's 2025. And then in 2024, hey, we murdered 573. And if you think that's bad, come on. Gets a lot worse than that. In 2021, we murdered 797. So they're looking at 416. Oh, look, it actually went up while I was tapping on the website. It just went up. They're still tabulating. And they said 414, now it's 416. But they're literally bragging about it. I'm not even kidding. And the Chicago the Tribune is bragging about it. That's 156 fewer people killed when compared with 2024. Hey, all right, and they call this progress. I'm not making this up. This is 100% true. Chicago Tribune. Isn't that amazing? And were there any marches for them? Were there any riots? Were there any demands? Did they want to change laws? Did they want to do anything? The answer is no. No. Just amazing. All right, let us, we played a bunch of audio the other day. We were talking about who was it? Was it CNN? I think one of their experts said that we'll talk about that in just a sec. Let's go back to the telephones. Let's go to Carlo calling from Arlington, Virginia. Carlo, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, man.
The audio you played, that video clearly shows that Miss Good actually aimed her car at the ICE agent, but the Democrats are still, calling him a murderer and such. And I actually heard a Democrat politician say that the ICE agent jumped on the hood of her car so he could shoot her through the windshield. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, and we, Carlo, we were talking about this on Friday, and CNN brought experts on who said, well, clearly he threw himself at the car. The police officer threw himself at the car. And you're right, Democrats say, the cops are the bad guys, right? And if you're a crazy woman who is whatever you're protesting and getting in the way of and blocking a road, and then the police show up and you don't listen to police commands, and then you punch it and race at the guy, and he bounces off the front of your car. We played a couple of sound bites on Friday that were absolutely berserk because they bring on experts at places like CNN that say things like this.
So he puts his non-shooting hand down, and basically he bounces himself off of it.
Laugh. Honestly, and that's Jonathan Wackarow, who is a disgraced former Secret Service agent, and threw himself at the car. And so it's his fault, right? The bad guy, I mean, again, it's the Rolling Stones, just as every cop is a criminal and all the sinners saints, but combined with mental illness.
Yes, as my friend Roger says, don't try to confuse me with the truth.
Well, honestly, and who's so that was Wackrow of the Secret Service. Oh, and the other was Manderson Pooper. Oh, yeah, Manderson Pooper on CNN. Also, you know, they don't report the news. They like to muddy the waters on behalf of the cop killers or the would-be cop killers.
It appears he comes into contact with the forward-moving vehicle and fires 3 shots.
Yes. He came into contact, Carlo, with the forward-moving vehicle.
I love that.
What?
You know, I think her wife should be charged because she was the one instigating her to hit the officer, and she's walking away scot-free, and that's not right.
You're absolutely right. And I got to tell you, the federal government is investigating now, and the state's very angry because they want to investigate it, even though it's the law and it's the rule, and it's always done this way. When federal law enforcement is involved, you don't hand it over to the Mayberry Police Department, let Barney Fife handle it, but the federal government does the investigation. The Democrats are very angry about that. They're not very angry about 416 murders in Chicago in 2025. They're okay with that. And I got to tell you, Carlo, I'm still laughing about this 17 million trees cut down in Scotland to make room for windmills.
I know, that's unreal.
They are.
And you mentioned the law that Tim Walz passed a few years ago, saying that you shouldn't interfere with police officers doing their job, and then people think that law doesn't exist.
Right. Well, because that again, that goes to the news media, doesn't it?
Of course.
Yeah. Just amazing stuff. And what happened to their brains? That's really the trick here, Carlo. Is that it not so long ago, some number of years ago, honestly, the Democrat Party was not nearly this insane.
Well, you said it yourself. It's a mental illness.
I can't come to any other conclusion. Rational, thinking, intelligent adults who are capable of nourishing themselves and maybe even holding a job, possibly raising a family. You can't say things like this and think like this, and it's almost impossible to believe. I got to tell you, Carla, where do we go from here, Carla?
I tell you, I don't know. That audio you played of Jasmine Crockett crying about this is just insane. Well, she is crazy.
Yeah, she is crazy. We got lots of members of Congress who are completely crazy. But I mean, you mentioned Jasmine Crockett. They're, these insane people. Number 38's too long, isn't it? We got that lady and that lady. Just unbelievable. They're so crazy. Oh, let's go to number 15 because this is in Minneapolis, back to Minneapolis, where the Democrats are out in the street screaming at the police and taunting them, calling them Nazis and calling them everything, and taunting them, begging them to these crazy women are out there begging police to shoot them.
People need to show up with guns to face you guys. It's time for an armed resistance against the United States of America.
Take your mask off.
This is done. We're done. You're murderers. You shot a woman in a wheelchair.
Mask off, bitch boy.
We need to come back with weapons. Go to the gun store, get a gun, learn how to use it, and face you guys man to man.
I think that might have been a man rather than a woman, but it's hard to say because they're Democrats. Carlo, thank you for paying attention and being rational and being an actual adult, unlike these people. Everybody go to a gun store, get a gun, because it's time for war against the government, and the governor is contributing to that and bringing up 1863 and the Battle of Gettysburg in Pennsylvania. And you got these libs out there screaming, it's time to kill ICE. It's time to kill ICE. The Democrat Party. I grew up with a lot of Democrats. They weren't like this. Maybe it's the drugs. Maybe it's pressing cell phones to your head for years and years on end. Severe brain damage. What are we going to do about these people? Oh! Washington Post has a story today attacking Erica Kirk, the widow of Charlie Kirk. Washington Post column, a mother of 2 toddlers continues to take on public-facing leadership duties while promoting traditional ideas about prioritizing marriage and motherhood. Here's how her clothes are attempting to walk the same line. It is a mental illness. There's really no getting around it. Newsmax reporting out of Iran, at least 544 human beings murdered by the regime there. Oh, and we got a Democrat who is a member of Congress who is comparing Iran to the United States, and so we do the same thing here. We shoot protesters, and this is very, very, very mentally ill. Man, oh man, oh man. All right, let me see. Let's go to. I don't know. We have an awful lot of time. Where do we want to go? How much time we have? Let's go to. Let's just go to the crazy people here. I see the Family Guy pulled a soundbite from Family Guy. That's Let's go to number 13. Number 13. That's Lucky 13. As another Democrat woman, they're out there. They're posting videos of themselves. They're out in the streets. They're violent. They're mentally ill.
I implore you to go watch the press briefing that J.D. Vance and KK Caroline are doing right now for the White House. I implore you to go watch that and then start doing something!
Use your
We
words.
are literally about to lose our country. Do you guys understand this? Do you guys understand this? It is not something for you to just turn a blind eye.
You know what we shouldn't turn a blind eye to? The Democrats in Queens on Friday chanting, "We support Hamas," which is like we support ISIS, we support Al-Qaeda. We support their white liberal women. Say it loud, say it clear. We support Hamas here. They should be turned over to Hamas since they're so supporting. I feel like I've only scratched the surface.